see. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to be here with all of you beautiful people. Carol, you're here. I was going to text you. Hope your mom's well. Katrinelle, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Christine, Cindy, Danielle, Deborah, Amelia, Fran, H.A., Heather, Ina, Jenny, Jessica, Linda, Luann, Megan. Oh my gosh, Phyllis, the list goes on and on. Wow, there's so many people here. Robin, Rosalie, Sarah, Teresa, Tracy. Welcome to everyone. Please do say hello when you're here in the chat bar below. And you know what? Hello to the Facebook world, whoever's joining us on Facebook today. I can't guarantee Facebook is going to stay. I just want to say I have no control over what happens with that, but we are here in Zoom, and it is sold out. It literally filled up. Like all of our spots are full. So you are lucky. You're one of the lucky ones who are joining us today. And I actually probably should introduce myself, shouldn't I? So welcome to the dawn of a new journey. My name is Shawna Pelton. I am the founder of the Quantum Shift Inner Power Circle, which is a conscious community of heart-centered seekers, change makers, and leaders on a quest for self-actualization. And as an energy medicine woman, a life coach, Loki makes all kinds of noises when I'm online. A spiritual teacher, a guide. I help purpose-driven people reorient to their true north, minimize that voice of the inner critic, and follow the impulse of their innermost self. And since this global cocooning began early this year, the Quantum Shift Inner Power Circle actually has provided so many opportunities for our community to gather. First, it's actually satisfied the need for connections. People are making solid, meaningful friendships. And it's so beautiful to be able to be a part of these opportunities to come together with like-minded soul family, if we can call each other that. And we also gather for monthly healing transmissions. We have weekly meditations and open office hours for our groups and memberships. So this has been a dream that I've held for so long, and thanks to the global shift, I was actually able to launch this vision into reality. So for that, I am thankful to 2020. And this end of year celebration is really just the icing on the cake, so they say. And I am so honored to be in the presence of greatness, with the people who are here with us today, the guests and the collaborators that we're here celebrating the solstice with. I'm super, super excited for this. You have no idea. I mean, I was literally up all night just giddy like a child. I want to hear if you can share in a word or a phrase or a sentence that describes maybe something that you learned this year or something that you're grateful for. I'd love to see what it is people are feeling. And by the way, no, our comments are only, someone asked, our comments are through Zoom or only Zoom. They're not Facebook comments. So there's that answer. We have all kinds of beautiful, deeper spiritual connections. Christine learned that she can embrace uncertainty. That's a big one. Danielle learned grace, promise, hope. Heather is here from Florida. Hi, Heather. John McCannon says play big. Awesome, John. Adversity is the mother of invention and empathy. Deeper inner peace, self-love, learning to say no to things that don't align, surrender. These are all words that people are sharing in the thread. Excited for big shifts. And for Facebook world, I will eventually tune in to see what you guys are sharing. So please do engage, and I will definitely follow up there when I have a second. Linda, grateful for the time I've had to calm myself and take control of myself. Yeah, that's a powerful one as well. Ready for the shift, Jenna? All right, so much more deeply connected to divine. This is divine. This is great. And I wanted to actually kind of, if it's okay, I'm going to share my screen and kind of go through a little bit of what you can expect today. And I hope you can see this. Actually, it'd be great to, if someone needs to chat with me, to tell me if I'm, muted, or if you can't see something, I'll open the chat bar so you can share with me then. So as I mentioned, here we are. It's this the Winter Solstice New Paradigm virtual event, and we have an amazing lineup of presenters. These people who are bringing you their great work. I'm so honored to be a part of it. So you'll have a chance today to be able to hear and experience the work from these amazing people. So if you want to just take a snapshot or take note on the agenda, we'll be moving through each of these practitioners in a flow. Hopefully we'll stay in time. That'd be great. Wouldn't it be great? I'd love to stay in time. And if you're needing a bio break, I have that already figured out too. So there'll be an opportunity to, get yourself your tea. This is my tea. And take a break in between some of these sessions. So I just wanted to let you know about that. And we are gathered in community today for a very special event that as I mentioned, I'm just thrilled to be here. These high vibe leaders have taken time out of their full lives and practices, so to share some really highly engaging and profound healing contributions with us as a gift. And so I would like to invite everyone who is a participant to reciprocate that energy. And if there's anything at all that you hear from any one of our speakers today, healers, they're not just speakers, there's so much more, but I don't want to minimize who they are, but you get the point. If there's anything that you hear today that really stands out, I'm going to ask you to, quote them and reach out to them and connect with them and engage. The intentions for today is to be uplifted in our hearts, to unify our minds, to elevate consciousness, expand our energy, and activate the power that's within us so that we can actually stay resilient through these really challenging times of great change. And we know it's hopeful, right? We know that the light is breaking through. That's what the solstice is telling us. That's what the stars alignment, that what you'll hear today, it's all about. And so it is, even though we have that awareness that the light is coming through, it's also really challenging. So our intention is to stay in this pure energy today, just for today. That's my invitation to you, just for today. And as I mentioned, you can reach out to the people who are contributing, who are here in service, because we are in this thing called life together. We want to make the most of it. Everyone in this community is warm and inviting. And so I'd love to encourage becoming more familiar, because as I mentioned at the beginning of this talk, there's so many people who have made deep, what I believe will be significant friendships moving forward. And it's just an honor to be in this type of, the community where we have this opportunity at a time where isolation and loneliness is at an all-time high, right? So I'm gonna just so here's the agenda. As I mentioned, I'm kind of like gonna give you a little bit of an overview of what this day is all about, why it's more special than other days. Every day is special, but what makes this a little bit different. And so I'm gonna just very quickly, and by the way, I had so many downloads. Like, I don't know about you, but prior to me sharing this and writing this work for today, I was just bombarded with energy, like so much intuition, and really tuning in to very specific messages around what we're going through that I was being guided to share with you today. But I can't get to it all. So I'm just going to kind of give you a very brief outline and overview of what it is that we are looking at today. So what we know traditionally is the winter solstice is, of course, a time to celebrate the return of the light. It's the darkest day of the year, and it makes it a really perfect time to actually go in and do some reflection, right? We can go into the darkness in like the cocoon stage that we've been in all year. So to learn from our past and move forward with the wisdom of doing that. Because anytime you contemplate your life, you gain some insights, and applying those insights is what wisdom is. So what makes this different is that the solstice falls on the conjunction, the great conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. Now, this happens every 20 years, but I don't remember exactly how long, but it's been a very long time since it's been aligned with the solstice. Now, many people are actually calling it the Christmas star because of well, a couple of reasons. Because you can see that very clearly with the naked eye. If you were to look up at the sky at just after sunset, just to the southwest, I believe, you should be able to see, if you have a clear sky, you should be able to see that. But this conjunction is the first time that it is moving into Aquarius. It's been in Capricorn, Earth energy. So we're moving into the air sign. And this brings a much needed elevation, right? We move from the like heaviness that can sometimes be in Earth, not always, but it can be, into the elevation of air, right? And that brings that shift that we're in need of. And it also is there's a term to describe when the air circulating moves. I can't remember what the word is, and feel free to type it if you can remember. But when you see birds kind of just simply gliding through the air because they're being held by what is that word? Anyway, it'll come to me, maybe not, but you can imagine it, right? And so the air lifts our wings, lets us fly high. And as the cocooning stage is now through, we are literally breaking out of the cocoon right now. That's what this is about. And we need the energy of the air to be able to fly. And the other thing about this Saturn Jupiter conjunction, I want you to think about contraction and expansion, old and new, past and future, reflecting on what we learned, right? According to Indigenous elders, they say that at this time, things will never be the same. We will never turn back and be the same again. So really great change is upon us. The other thing that makes this unique is that we're moving through the photon belt. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't look like it's a perfect view, but anyway, so moving through the photon belt is actually activating our planet and our own bodies. Now, what does this mean? So photon is just a fancy word for light. It's a very specific type of light. And as a matter of fact, your cells radiate these photons. It's actually data. If you were to look at it for what it is, it's just data packages of light. And that information is transferring just back and forth between our cells, and it's a communication that is happening. And so it's as if there's information being dumped through us. We are literally traveling through this great photon belt right here. So if this is our solar system, right? So here's our planetary system. We're moving into this photon belt. Now you'll notice this is part of a great cycle. And it's not exact, but it's roughly 26,000 year cycle that happens. And so when we're not in the photon belt, we go to darkness. And so we've been in the darkness, and now we're coming into the 2,000 year cycle of light. And this happens twice. So within this 26,000 year cycle. So you'll see this is 11,000 years, right? This phase is 11,000 years on either side. And then within here is 2,000 years on either side. And so anyway, this is really just an exciting time to be going through everything that we're going through, because we are literally being bombarded with information. Our DNA is being activated by this information. Some wise teachers that I follow are saying that this is supporting our evolution, our spiritual evolution, as humanity is moving from the Homo sapien stage that we've been in for hundreds of thousands of years to the Homo spiritus sanctus, which is about our pure essence as human. Isn't that exciting? And so this is helping right now. And so the light body is what I refer to as our soul, our frequency is resonant on this soul level. I'm sorry, I'm getting all kinds of messages from people, so I was just getting distracted for a second. Apologize for that. So when we talk about like these activations, we realize that we have an original soul signature, but what ends up happening is life is we get distracted by our dramas and traumas. And as a matter of fact, some of these things cause fractures. It affects our health because it distorts the light. And so what healing is all about is actually restoring the wholeness of your light body so that you can actually operate from your original frequency and your original soul signature. And when the light flows through us, it flows through our chakras. I want you to think about how the heartbeat is to the circulatory system, as the energy centers we call chakras is to the light body and the energy body. Okay, so it flows light through us, through our mind, the way that we see the world, the way that we what we see in the world, all is connected to this particular body. So that's why it's important right now to have healing, because this is a stream of information coming through in the photon belt right now. It's also affecting our planet. So what you're seeing here is Earth's grid. So just like we have our grid and our energy centers, and these chakras are the main points, right? These nodal points. And then there's channels flowing through. Then there's also these the locations on the planet that a lot of the sacred sites are on, not a lot, all of them, all of the sacred sites on our planet lie on these nodes. These, again, it's about the template of the earth, the energy system of the earth, and supporting the elevation and the expansion of her power as well. That's what's also happening. This is a big deal. That's why I'm so excited. So Earth also has an original template, and as this light flows through us, and it also flows through the photon belts, and it comes through the Milky Way. That's another story. But basically what's happening is it's streaming all of this energy and light and power into the Earth, and her rhythm is changing as a result of this. Her heartbeat is changing. And we know this to be true when we look at the Schumann resonance. And we are able to, the Schumann resonance is essentially that rhythm of the Earth's energy. Electromagnetic fields can be measured. And basically, it has an impact on us as well. We are interconnected. We're synergistic, like we work. What's this? Yeah, just I guess interconnected, right? And so what we do affects the Earth. And that's what is prophesized by the Aboriginal people in Australia. Why did I forget the name of Australia? So the Uluru Prophecy, you guys can look it up because it's really exciting what they're talking about. There's a huge, oh my God, there's like so much information around that I wished I had more time for, but I want to encourage you all to go ahead and tune into what the Uluru Prophecy is. You can look that up afterwards. But what they say is that today, the potential, if you see here, you'll look on the picture, the Milky Way is actually streaming down in a certain direction. It's kissing the top of the rock, the playa of Ayers Rock, right? And if you can recall from the previous slide, that is, let me show you, whoops, that is the solar plexus for the grid on the Earth. So right here is the solar plexus. So if the Milky Way today is in direct alignment with this solar plexus, or the navel, they also call it the navel of the Earth, there is a powerful dose of light coming through to the planet for our much needed infusion of energy to activate the grid of the earth. And again, according to the prophecy and to the elders who keep the teachings alive, they say that our involvement, this human involvement, is actually what supports this process. And what we are doing today, you and I, right here, with this support that we have from these amazing presenters that we're about to get started with, they're supporting us through holding the vibration of our love, of our power, of our light, and infusing, if we can imagine, we are infusing that into everything just by being in that place. And so that is, if you can imagine, what I would like to stay focused on, being in that state of love, right? That invitation that I mentioned earlier, if you tuned in at the beginning, and I asked us to just simply be in that place of love for today. What if you can pick up all of your worries and all your fears and all of your problems tomorrow, right? If you want to, you can, but just for today. If you can simply hold this powerful frequency that we call love, because love is the solvent that heals the cracks. Love is the healer for our crystalline body, the physical of us as well as for the earth itself. And so that's what we'd like to experiment with today, to allow yourself to be love in your thoughts, in your words, and in your deeds. And let today inspire you to go even deeper than you've ever gone before. So that is what I hope for today. So to help you with this, we have, as I mentioned, some amazing people who are going to be supporting us through the process. And I need to, before I introduce Danielle, I have to actually find her. Let me find Danielle here and make her, promote you to panelist, Danielle. So you're welcome to turn on your computer and join us. And I'd love to just simply introduce Danielle, our first guest. And Danielle is a dear sister of mine. We've been together for many, many lifetimes, I believe. Danielle is a spiritual catalyst who has a rare ability to tune into the energies that are surrounding us, to transmute the old distortions into a new, higher place. Her light transmissions can help us heal, restore, and realign ourselves, and provide guidance for our path moving forward. And she'll be opening up to share a very special message coming through for us today. So I'd like to, without further ado, welcome Danielle to the party. Danielle, are you able to turn your picture on, or is that?
It says that I can't. It says that you have to.
I have to give you permission?
Because the host stopped it.
Panelists, okay, all right. Try it now. See if that works.
Yay!
Okay. So again, without further ado, I would love to just give a warm welcome to my dear sister, Danielle Grace, and I will quiet.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle. Thank you for being here with all of us today. I'm so excited. I'm a little nervous. So I kind of show up and just surrender in the moment and allow whatever energy needs to come through to move through me. And I wasn't sure if I was going to share a transmission that was energetic in nature or a message, like an actual language-based message. And so I'm getting a little bit of both. So I'm going to start with a message that came through from the guides. About a year ago, I started receiving messages about 1221. not really knowing anything about it, but just that it would be a paramount date, kind of in the history of mankind. And then simultaneously, I started receiving messages about convex and concave lenses. What do I know about concave or convex lenses? Really nothing. And at the time, I didn't really think too much, because usually my guides will bring the message through over time. So I hope to bring you through the message that they have delivered to me, and share a couple new things that have come through. And just know that if it doesn't entirely make sense language-wise, it will unfold energetically within you. Similarly to how the guides bring me through a transmission, I will also do that with you. So it will energetically unfold. So this is what it's really mind-blowing, actually. So I wanted to know what would happen on 12/21, like how would things shift for us? And what they said was that the lens of humanity was going to change. And they started talking about concave and convex lenses, and how previously and presently, because this unfolds individually and collectively, that we have a convex lens. And so this is the lens of how we view, how we take in light, how we see and perceive images, and that it was going to be shifting to a concave lens. And so I'm going to simplify this as much as possible. But basically with a convex lens, this is the shape of it. And in order to perceive anything outside of ourselves, we have to perceive through two rays of light. So I would have to perceive this pen through 2 points. So maybe the top and the bottom, the top and the middle and the bottom. And then I would take in the image, and then I would perceive it upside down, inverted. So when they started to describe this to me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is where the whole inverted matrix thing kind of comes up. It's like how we perceive reality outside in, how we're taking from the outside and perceiving it in before we awaken, right? And so they were talking collectively at this point, but they said that I would go through this personally first, and that humanity would be going through it collectively as well. So that's what a lot of the light workers are doing. We're going through this, and we're just going through the process a little bit before, or a lot before, so that we can assist humanity in doing this. So they said that the lens is going to be shifting to a concave lens, which I don't know if you can see. So concave lens, the same thing is true. You have to perceive an image on 2 points, but with the concave lens, so this lens right here, it's an actual true image. It's not reverse or upside down in our perception. So that was huge, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Like the way that we view and take in light in our perception works is going to shift. And then some months later, because this is how the guides work, I kind of start to work with the energy, and then it shifts, and then I get a little more understanding. So then they brought this to me. This is the 3D 5D split, by the way. So I don't know if you can see, but this is the 3D 5D, how we are overlapping, and this is the lens. See the convex lens? And then as it splits, this kind of just absolutely blew my mind. As it splits, you have the concave lens. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is a perceptual change from the actual movement of energy, right? But it gets even more extraordinary. I was like, wow. So I had a couple questions that arose for my guides. I wanted to know, how this would look. And then the question arose, would this be like temporary, or would this be ongoing? Because there was something in me that felt that it wasn't going to be long-term. So that question arose, but I just sat back and surrendered and allowed the information to come forth. And this is the new information that emerged that I haven't really shared publicly yet. But what they're saying is, one of the things they're saying is it kind of happens in an instant, like an illumination, as Shawna described. But even in, I didn't know about the photon belt. So even when we're in the photon belt for that long period, from the guide's perspective, from the higher dimensional perspective, it is a flash. It kind of is like an instant, a sacred geometry, like collapsing in and of itself and full emerging out the other side is kind of how they're saying, they're describing it. But this kind of had me weepy yesterday because I wanted to know, I've been really feeling that light workers, I've been really kind of experiencing the work that light workers have done, carving out a path. I'm talking about people that have been on this path for 10, 20, 30, 40 years doing this work. And I've been in touch with this like extraordinary amount of gratitude in my heart for just seeing and realizing the work that they've done and the amount of light, the extraordinary amount of light that they've anchored on the planet. So I wanted to kind of understand more. And so the guides brought me through. I still get really, there's so much energy and it's so extraordinary to experience it. They brought me through the experience of what the light worker does, and something new that came through as a message was that no one gets left behind. I still get really emotional about it. It's a really new message for me. And this is quite contrary to my understanding of how the 3D, 5D shift works, because, you know, it's like we're separated and all of this part of humanity is in 3D. Isn't that going to be extraordinarily difficult? And, you know, there's the pain of wondering about family members and other friends and just parts of humanity that are going to be left in 3D. And this came through as a really strong message. I felt it in every cell of my being that no one would get left behind. And I wanted to know how is that possible? Everything I've heard talks about the split and how people choose through free will. And the guide said it's still going to be a choice, but through the illumination, people will see, and this is what happens. So let's just say this is those who have illuminated beings in 5D. They have a higher lens of light. They emit a higher vibration. And then the 3D. It's this. It's not just the lens shifting, it's how we see each other. It's this group of 5D humans that have worked to realize the self and that are realizing the self and doing the work, that then look here and through their own illumination, see the illumination of others. And then when they do this, I'm not sure if this happens simultaneously, 3D also perceives that, but also sees through the concave lens this group in a new way. So it's not just that we perceive the world in a new way, it's that we perceive each other in a new way. And it's like kind of like this, just to see the dynamics of it in the quantum field, that's typically how I see things and experience the way that this is all happening is just so incredibly powerful. It's as if heaven unfolds within, and when we perceive heaven within, we're able to see it in all of those around us. And that begins this extraordinary shift, and we reach this tipping point. And it's, so what they say is so much that the dominant consciousness will exist within the higher plane. So that was the new, those are some of the newer messages, in that they talk a lot about samadhi and cities, people discovering their cities, which some of my guides are Hindu in nature. And even though I have no direct connection through the guides, I do. So I become aware of what a city is and what samadhi is through their guidance and through my own experience of it. And it's really, it's almost like we're realizing our gifts and what we came to do to serve each other and help each other. And from the depths and the being of our sacred heart, we emit this light to each other. So I hope that message translates, and I'm gonna just take a moment to energetically share this with you as well. If you wanna just bring your awareness to your body, this will only take a minute at the most. And I'm just going to open my vibration even more. And you can just open your heart and receive as it resonates. Some light language may come through. Vidya Kuranaya Siddhaya Vukushatiya Iya Vukoratai Yakoidaya Shudoya Teke Vurutukoya. We are one mind, one mind, one mind. Ideya Kushataya Yania Satoya Mwanatekeya. One light, one light, one light. Itekeya Nura Takashatiya Vukoyanai. So that's it. Thank you so much for receiving and for showing up. And I'm sending lots of love and light and blessings your way.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I always get chills when I hear that light language that you share. Oh, thank you so much, Danielle. And I did put up on here, hello to your son. And I share and I will share your information. I already did in the chat bar, so feel free to engage in there. I will thank you so much, so much. I absolutely love you, and I'm so grateful to have you here today. So you can go ahead and close your picture, and I will introduce our next presenter. And actually, you know what I need to do is make Hellenique, I'm turning you into a co-host, so you can turn on your picture whenever you are ready. I absolutely thrilled to have our next featured guide. She is hands down a deeply inspiring, unique individual. Hellenique is an award-winning innovator and forecaster. She is a true luminary of our time, an expert in inspiring and actualizing human potential. As an innovative clinical psychologist, a sound and drum therapist, she facilitates groups and corporations through change as an organizational trainer and facilitator. And today, she's going to guide us through a sacred rhythmic ceremony, calling in the 4 elements and the 64 gifts. So please help me welcome my dear sister, Hellenique Argyru.
Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you so much to the Oracle and to you, Shawna, for holding such a beautiful sacred space today. Really has been profound to hear about the honoring presence of light coming through. And I am in an island here, Cyprus, middle of the Mediterranean, where a lot of the ancient temples line up with the ones in Egypt and the ones in Greece, where in fact there was a very powerful ancient understanding of light and the power of light as a very important force in this universe. So I present to you my symbolic gesture of this light. And today we're going to do an honoring rhythmic ceremony where I will ask you to set an intention for this powerful time of transformation. And what I mean by that is to actually direct your attention and your chi, your prana, your life force, and your divine alignment with your highest self, your highest wish, your highest law for living, and to begin to formulate that into an intention for 2021. We just had a very good preparation to take us there. So this intention is something that you will hold in your mind as we move into this rhythmic ceremony. I will be honoring the 4 directions and opening up an energetic space. Together with me, I would like you to close your eyes each time as I start the drum and to really bring in your intention every time. But before you do that, each time we will honor the direction first and what it brings us. I'm going to do this in the simplest form possible because we want to use our time well. And then we will spend a few more minutes in the rhythm, really bringing in the intention. And I would like you to really become present with how you will feel when your intention is complete. So you actually create the receptivity. You begin to feel receptive, right, when we're doing it, of this intention actually coming into the world. So we spoke about transformation. And so we're going to talk about the true meaning of transformation in the ceremony that I'm doing. So we're honoring the 4 directions. Each one of them brings a certain aspect of change and stability to our lives. And we're going to be inviting that in so that we can have the power of the universal forces around us. And then we're going to, at the very end, include Shawna, where she will also bring in the power of the direction up and down. And this is a very profound synchronization between us because we have both of us different understandings of the importance of that. And there is an extension to all of this work, which is really preparing us to become able to deal with the 64 pathways of change through the I Ching and through the Tao. We understand that they are very powerful things to experience in all change, in all processes that involve change. And we are busy with one very profound process of change that holds within it 64 variations, expressions of that transformation, of that change. So we won't have time to do an exploration of those, but we will also just be mindful of them during the ceremony. So let's all prepare ourselves now for the ceremony. I would like to ask you to find a nice comfortable space, and if you can, find the direction in your home that points to the east. The east is the place where vision lives, and there is always an awareness in us that can see things as they truly are, that can call things into being by seeing them through the vision, through the dream. So as you set your intention, when we honor this direction, I would like you to see it happening. This direction is going to help you to see your intention. And this is the transformation you want to create for 2021. Then we will move to the south, which is how we relate to our intention, how we relate to each other, how we relate to the world. It also represents time. And we're going to use this direction and welcome in its power to help us understand. The south represents also all the things that we are unaware of. And so beginning to open to understanding means we begin to integrate with that energy. When we move then to the west, we are going anti-clockwise. So I want you to again figure out where east is, then you move south with me, then you move west with me, which represents reason, knowledge, and the capacity in us to figure things out. So facing west and honoring the west, bringing the west in is very important for our times because it will help us during this discomfort to find the space of reason with all that we are busy with, to be able to find common sense and to work it out, to find a way through, carve out the path through it all. And to also know and understand from the south helps us to know what we need to know from the west. And then we will come north, and in the north direction, we will respect and integrate movement and wisdom. So the north is all about also a movement towards wisdom, towards integrating the awareness with the understanding, with the knowledge, and then with the wisdom. So when we're in the north direction, we will be honoring that. Each time I will be doing a drum rhythm, and there will be some time after we've brought in those energies for you to actually integrate with your intention. Remember, I said first you will see it when you're in the east, and then you will relate to it. So you will be doing a little bit of a visioning exercise, following my prompts to actually integrate it each time. I'm lighting my 4 candles for ceremony. And before we begin, I want to share with you the card that I pulled for us for this ceremony tonight. And the card simply is honeybees and the very powerful message of teamwork. You can trust us to stick with you through thick and thin, to the bitter end, and you can trust us to keep any secret of yours closer than you keep it yourself. But you cannot trust us to let you face trouble alone and go off without a word. We are your friends. This comes from the J.R.R. Tolkien Merry Fellowship of the Ring. It's a random deck of cards that I use, but they actually are designed for playing with adults. They call the Destiny cards, social entertainment of the 21st century. And they always surprise me because they bring in a quote from somewhere that always seems to really tune into the moment. So 2021 is about more teamwork than ever before. And this is how we're going to team up now with the universe. We're going to actually call in all these powerful energies. So I welcome you all with feet on the ground, sitting in a chair in your meditative position, facing the direction of the east. Taking a big breath in through your mouth and out through the mouth again. Synchronizing ourselves with the entire group watching today, we take the breath in again through the mouth and out through the mouth, breathing in. This time, create the sound ha as you breathe out. Ha. Bring your awareness into your body, and one more time, breathing in, this time through the mouth again. Lean back into your body, feel your body into the chair, and breathing out through the nose. Drop your chin just a little bit so that the neck is nicely relaxed. Let your elbows, shoulders, and hands drop down towards the earth, and your spine shoot up in paradox, in contra movement up towards the sky. Spine is moving up towards the sky, skin, flesh, and bones moving down towards the earth. We are in divine paradoxical alignment with the earth and the sky. Feeling that connection now, I would like you to feel your feet once more on the ground, facing the eastern direction. And we're calling in the power of our own vision for 2021. Begin to honor the power of your own awareness. Start to see. Imagine what's possible for you. Take a deep breath in. Honor the direction of the east and all that it brings to our lives, all that it reminds us of, this powerful direction that helps us develop awareness, helps us see what's important for us for the coming year and the coming epic time in human history that we are entering into. Setting this intention now for yourself, imagine how you will look in the future. Actualizing this intention. Imagine what clothes you'll be wearing, how you will look when you're walking from a distance, And then bring your attention back into your body, back into the space. And I'd like you now to turn your body towards the south direction. You see me turning to the south. And we are now going to be calling in the southern direction. So I'd like you to keep your eyes closed. Thinking now about how you relate to yourself, how you relate to the world, how we relate to each other. And your deepest understanding that's come from 2020, how you've understood yourself so powerfully. Thanking this direction now for the great understanding and integration it helps us to create. The power of time. How we allow all the unknown aspects, our unconsciousness, that which is buried, to enter into our lives and to create deeper understanding. Thank this direction for all of its powerful mirroring. And now bring your intention back into your mind. And begin to see the thoughts that you will have, the emotions you will feel, and the actions you will take to complete this intention. Taking a deep breath in, feel your intention in the emotions it will create. See your intention manifesting. Become aware of all the little things you will do day by day to make this intention real. And now we turn to the West. And the West, we thank the West for knowledge, for a sense of reason, for where things settle and integrate. Taking a deep breath in and out. We ask for protection. We thank the protection. And we know that there will be this power to reason out, to figure it out, to know how to manage all the challenges that come with all the guidance and the protection. I really do hope you could have heard that. And whatever you got, let it sink into your cells. Feel it moving into your bones. And slowly make your adjustment now to come to the north. In Peru, the north is a very powerful direction because it is facing the north that we learn to refine our understanding of those that we wish to assist, the people we feel called to lead, the communities we wish to serve. And so as you move now to the north direction, I want you to know that this direction stands for wisdom, and we are calling in higher wisdom. We are inviting the wisdom in. We are sensing, respecting, and appreciating wisdom, movement, change itself. We start to know that we can actually do it, and we start to do it. Whatever the transformation is, it is starting to be done as we face this direction and we call in its teachings. We thank this direction for all that it teaches us. Start to see your intention. Taking a deep breath in, absorbing now all the power of the West behind you, the South behind that, and the East behind that. Move from the East to the South, to the West, and back here where you're seated now into the North, facing this northern direction. Absorb the power of these directions and all that they teach us. And bring your awareness back to your intention and the wisdom that you will cultivate once you have developed this Powerful teaching. And integrated it into your life's path, into your life's work, from having manifested your intention. See that now, feel that now, and know that it is done. Receive it as though it is now complete. Make space for it in your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. I'm calling on Shawna to introduce us to the direction of up and down. And I hope it was audible enough for you to hear.
Yes, it was. That was powerful.
I will unlock the energy by going back in the reverse direction. So I would like to just stay in this position and have you for your beautiful.
Sure.
And then we will just finish the ceremony by going anti-clockwise.
Great. So what we just experienced was the power of the 4 elements. And I loved the beautiful visualization and the drumming to keep that rhythm and your heartbeat with that vision so that you can bring life and power into it. When we are drawing from the powers of up and down, the intention is to connect to our source of our life, our light, and bring it into us, and to stabilize our beingness and the source of our physicality. So drawing the energy of Earth Mother and Father Sky in some native traditions, that's what they call it, into our heart center, which is the power of here. And so as we talk about navigating these difficult times from our power, we must know that in order to stabilize our power, we have to be connected to all of these aspects of our being, the four elements and the powers of up and down in our heart. And so that is the intention of bringing in those energies.
Maybe we can just be in focus with that.
Yes. And so taking a breath in, drawing it into your body and being. And for those of you who have been with me for a long time, you know that you can breathe deep into your belly and squeeze your pelvic floor muscles. It feels awkward, but it anchors you. On your exhalation, shoot your breath energy down through the earth, through your body and into the earth, rather. And on your next breath in, draw the energy from beneath you. Squeeze your pelvic floor once again. Fill up your torso. Come into your heart center, and on your exhalation, shoot that breath out through your crown. Release your muscles or relax your muscles. Take a breath into your heart center. Feel the groundedness, the connectedness, the center that you are in, stabilized by the 4 elements, thanks to Hellenique's guidance. So be it.
Thank you so much, everyone. So if you want to unlock this, we're going to just go back from the north, face again to the west. Just spend a moment there. Face again now to the south. Bring all of yourself now back to the east. Take one more moment there. And then return to your seating, to your place of rest. And at some point in the ceremony, as we close it, you had a clear idea of your intention for 2021. So I would invite you to write that down, and anything that comes to your mind during the next series of speakers, keep just coming back to this intention by writing one word, a color, anything that you remember, and put that in a safe place so that on the 1st of January, you can look at it again and add to it. Thanks so much, Shawna. Blessings to everybody.
Thank you, Hellenique. I appreciate your time with us today. And I will share Hellenique's information so you can learn about her formula for increased success, visibility, publicity, and impact for any global female leaders out there and awakening women. And I, again, will leave that information in the chat bar so you can reach out to Hellenique should you want more information. And I am excited to introduce you all to our next guest speaker. And this is another sister. You know what? I love all of these sisters. They're all my sisters. So Teresa Citarella is a licensed mental health counselor and an art therapist who's passionate about working to create stronger mind, body, spirit connections while using therapeutic energy healing techniques that help people attune to their personal truth. So for today's offering, Teresa is going to be teaching us how to move through the energies of this new age by bringing us through a guided process to help us move the stuck energies in order to release what no longer serves us, using emotionally soothing and restorative moving meditation exercises. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Teresa to the stage.
So much, Shawna. It's so awesome to be here. What a wonderful way to just transition one speaker into the other, with Shawna starting and then with the transmission and then drumming. I feel like the energies are so ripened now to do what I love to call like the work. So I'm bringing some of my therapeutic background in here today. My intention is to help everyone feel more comfortable holding space for your emotions, because emotions are pretty chaotic lately this whole year. And so I'm here to really be a guide to help you hold space for you, so that you're not afraid to look inside, you're not afraid to see what's going to come through you. And so this is all about, holding space for community. So I created a very small presentation just so I can stay on track for me, or then I'll talk forever. So I'm just going to share my screen, and if anything does not share, Shawna, you just give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that screen. Winter Solstice celebration. Okay. So what I've been picking up lately with the solstice energy, and really with 2020, is that there is heightened energies, right? There's heightened energies on the planet, with politics, the pandemic, all of that. And I've been finding it's been a time and a year for me to embrace more of my darkness within. So really holding love and compassion for my darkness and for my shadows, so that I can integrate more moving into 2021, so that those shadows and the darkness don't feel like this overwhelming, scary thing, but that now I know how to hold more compassion for all of it, right? So this can be bittersweet work. It's so wonderful to stay connected and illuminated in our light source. And also, there's a DBT term, and also we are human beings with darkness, with duality. This universe is duality. So to continue to transform and transmute our 3D consciousness into 5D, we cannot be afraid any longer and fear the parts that are a little bit darker, or if you want to call it negative, right? It's like the yin and the yang. One is not better than the other, it just merely is. So I'm here to give you permission that it's okay to look at all of the parts. So I wrote, the more we embrace the darkness within us and of the physical darkness cycle of the planet, we can come out stronger with more clarity. It is a cycle to look at our fears, sensitivities, and emotions and embrace them instead of hide from them. We are moving towards a realm that can no longer push away or hide from what is unwanted. We're here. The mirror is growing bigger. We see what's happening within us. It's being reflected out into others. Like Danielle was saying, light workers, we're doing our hardest to do the hard work so that we can hold that space for others who also want to do, I call it hard work, because this stuff, it doesn't just happen overnight. So I'm here to be a guide for empaths, for folks who are really highly sensitive, who are struggling with taking on other people's energies. And I want to give you all a skill today, an experiential, so that you know moving forward, you have something to hold space for yourself. So what do we do with everything I just said? I love these little polar bears hugging each other. What can we do? We can embrace our emotions. We can hold space for what is coming up within us, so that we have more capacity to hold space what is coming up in our loved ones. Hold that space with non-judgmental lens, right? You're probably going to hear this within a mindfulness framework, that if we look at something without judgment, it has the ability to be seen and to be heard. Emotions have an energetic force to them. If we push away anger, it is being rejected, it will get bigger. When we invite and we hold space for without judgment, it flows through. And in that, the midst of non-judgment, we want to give compassion. And what does compassion mean, right? It's like that unconditional love and acceptance to others. And it's just doing that to ourselves now. Self-compassion. I know it's so much easier to give compassion to others, first and foremost, before ourselves. I've been there, I've done it. But then we're losing our life force. We're losing that capacity to really give and receive love so openly. We're going to give ourselves permission today to dive a little bit deeper. And then what happens naturally, without efforting, without forcing, is that you feel the shifts come through. So what you're going to do, and again, thank you to all the other facilitators who have primed this energy so well. You're just going to get nice and comfortable wherever you're sitting, wherever you're lying down. Just feel supported with whatever you decide to, or how to move your body. Maybe having your feet on the floor, making sure you feel grounded. And we're going to first just deepen our breath into our abdomen. So take maybe a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let it all go. Again, deep breath in through the nose. Feel it going down into the abdomen, past the lungs. Exhale, fully surrendering through the breath out. Trying that again, feeling your body sinking deeper as you breathe deeply in and fully exhale. Giving yourself permission to show up for you right now. And we're just going to tune in, meaning we're going to look inward. Is there a place in our body that needs a little extra support and love? So a quick body scan to just get more acquainted with what we're feeling right now. Maybe start noticing your head and the muscles in your face. Relaxing down your jawline. Continuing to breathe as you look inward. Maybe you have your eyes closed and it helps you go deeper in, or maybe you have a soft gaze. And you start to notice what your neck and your shoulders feel like without changing anything right now, just simply to experience it. Noticing and staying curious with the heart space around your chest. Just noticing sensations. Does anything feel tight, feel uncomfortable, or feel really open and flowing? Move your attention down your arms and out through your palms. Maybe you even notice your palms have warmth, your own healing energy pouring through. You notice your abdomen, just releasing the gut. You don't need to hold so tightly right now. And feeling into your back, upper, middle, and lower back. Just keep noticing, go into the hips and the legs. What do your legs feel like? How are your muscles doing? How are your knees? Moving deeper down into the ankles and the feet. Hopefully feeling and sensing the deeper connection with the body. And just asking the body and your emotions, is there some place that needs a little extra love and support? And see if something surfaces. If you feel drawn to a certain area, a certain thought, a memory, it could be very subtle. And whatever comes through, I want you to imagine we begin to hold space for it without judgment, as if we're sitting next to that sensation, whether it's discomfort, whether it's love, whether it's confusion. You can imagine yourself, you're really small, maybe sitting next to the heart, if that's where you're drawn, or sitting next to the shoulders if they felt tight, or if you're having some digestion issues, just put yourself in that place. And imagine you're looking through the lens of unconditional love to whatever is surfacing. You're giving it permission to be felt, to be seen. You can borrow some of that compassion from Divine Source or Divine Mother Earth if you feel like you can't do it all on your own. Call upon your guides to help you pour that compassion into that emotion or sensation. And get nice and quiet with it and ask it, what does it need to feel fully supported at this moment? And see if it dialogues back with you. See if you can listen to it, understand it. Maybe there's a muscle that's tight that wants some warmth. Imagine putting a blanket on it or giving it a cup of tea. Or there's an emotion that is vulnerable. Just sitting next to it for another moment or so. Not being afraid, but embracing this is a part of you. And today we embrace it with love. The very best you can do. We're slowly going to come back into this space, starting to feel your body once again and telling the part you are working with, you can return, you can keep visiting and checking in with it, so you can keep honoring it moving forward. So feeling your legs once again, maybe scrunching up your feet and breathing in and exhaling your feet. And feeling your fingers and your palms, maybe making fists as you breathe in and exhale and open up the hands. And maybe bringing your shoulders up to your ears, breathing in and exhaling and bringing the shoulders back down. So coming back to this space and time, if there was a lot more time, I would say journal and reflect. And maybe during some breaks throughout this webinar series, we can have you write whatever came up for you, because it's a big part of integrating is expressing what happened, right? Letting a friend know, journaling it, creating art, maybe it's moving or dancing. So make sure you give yourself a little bit of reflection time. But I want to show you how to release some energy if you felt a buildup, and then how to create more heart space. So I'm just going to actually move my camera so you can see me standing. Okay. So the first one, to release energy, and I've been trained under Donna Eden, who is an energy facilitator. So I have some resources at the end that I'll share with you if you find that these movements are helpful. So here's some movement instructions. So we're going to bring our hands into fists. Tuck your thumbs under your fingers. Okay, so your thumbs are hidden. And then, so you're probably going to want to stand up for this. If you're sitting, just modify. You can do it sitting too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe in as I bring my arms up above my body. And then I'm going to have a quick movement, bringing my arms down in front of my body. And I'm releasing my hands out. So when there's a buildup of anger or frustration or too much energy, your body and vessel can't hold it. Again, we go breathing in through the nose, exhale through the mouth, let it out. So it's like a swift motion down. You do this a few times until you feel the energy releasing out of you. Again, breathing in, winding up the arms, the hands, exhale, bringing it down. Maybe one more time, breathing in. Wonderful. And if you're someone who needs to kind of voice out, like have a little audio voice with that, please do so. That's really powerful. So this release energy is really good for when it's building up too much. You need to calm down. You can do that releasing. And then to ease, shield, and love, we have this heart movement. So you're going to kind of work with just the torso of your body. What I'm doing is I'm going to start drawing a heart around my chest and my torso. So I'm going up the middle of my body, right underneath my chin. I'm imagining that there's a heart here, and I make a little bit of an arch for the heart, and I go back down towards like my root chakra. So now we're all going to breathe in as we come up, creating our heart, and exhale as we go back down. And feel the love emanating out and building up, right? You feel that the warmth is happening. Maybe you sense a color. Maybe you sense vibration. So you can do that as many times as you need. And what I tell my fellow empaths is it's a great way to shield, right? If you are amidst someone who has some intense energy and you just need a beautiful heart shield, you can just do that around your torso a few times. So hopefully you just experienced a moment of tapping in and giving yourself permission, releasing out what no longer serves you, and bringing in the love. And I just actually finished watching Frozen 2 again because it's one of my favorite movies. And I'm always reminded by Frozen 2, love is permanent. Love lasts. Everything else is temporary. So how can you keep tuning into your infinite love that's within all of us? And here's a few resources if you guys want to jot it down. So some of those movements, again, I got from Donna Eden. She has a wonderful YouTube tutorial to relieve stress. If you just YouTube Donna Eden relieve stress, you'll have a beautiful 5-minute cycle to just help you get back into your equilibrium. For those of you who are sensitive, who need to deal with some more emotions, the Empath Survival Guide by Judith Orloff is really wonderful. I use it as my guide for so many of my clients. If you're looking to find a little bit more peace, Peace is Every Step by Thich Nhat Hanh, and he has beautiful meditations and guided exercises. And one of my favorite speakers, The Universe Has a Plan by Matt Kahn. So just a few resources if you just need a little bit of guidance to help you hold some of the hard stuff. I hope that this can be helpful for people. All right. Well, thanks so much for having me. I hope I didn't go over too much. Okay, great. Good, you're back on.
No, that was fantastic. I loved it. I was doing the exercises and really felt a relief for sure. And I would love if you could share those resources in the chat bar so that people can access those. I loved the quote, love is permanent, love lasts, everything else is temporary.
Yeah.
I love Frozen too, speaking of
So
love. Good. Yeah, isn't it? It really is. Yeah. So I could go down that path. I won't. I get excited about these things. Thank you so much, Teresa. That was really an incredible experience. I absolutely appreciated the facilitation through those practices. And before our next speaker, we're going to have a bio break. So what I would like to do before that bio break, if anyone here tuning in can share with us a takeaway from so far what we've done today, or maybe more than one, a takeaway or two from each of the people who have generously shared their teachings with us today. Just simply give some love to them and tell us all what it was you are taking away from their work. So Amazing. The energy release exercise at the end was great. Wonderful. Awesome. I'm sure people are typing away. And while we do that, hold on, I'm just going to shift to turn on some music. So again, we're going to have the next speaker is Megan, and she's going to be starting at 2 o'clock. So that's in 5 minutes. And so I'll just simply give everyone a bio break so you can get some fresh air and something in your belly if you need to. And then join us immediately at 2 o'clock so that we can all be together again and keep going. So you don't have to hang this up. Don't close your screen. Keep your screen open so that you can stay with us. All right. So I'll mute myself.
We have not come here to beg world leaders to care. You have ignored us in the past, and you will ignore us again. You have run out of excuses, and we are running out of time. And if solutions within this system are so impossible to find, we should change the system.
Two more minutes. We'll be back in 2 more minutes.
real power belongs to the people. And
Okay, everybody, we are coming back live. And I have to apologize because I said 2 o'clock and then just realized it wasn't 2 o'clock, it's 1:30. So we're going to have everybody come back and join us now for our next speaker. I'm going to just pull her up now, Megan Marini. So let me take a moment to do that. And I'm going to give you co-host skills so you can pull up your video. And I will also apologize because I just noticed I accidentally uploaded the wrong email or the wrong website on the image here. So pardon me, I would change that in the chat bar so you guys will have the correct information to contact Megan. But
is my sound going in?
Can you hear me? Megan, can you hear me okay?
Hi, I can. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm sorry I put the wrong email and website here.
No
So
worries.
I'll correct that for everybody. And
Yeah, no worries.
I'm super excited to have you here with us today. Just to kind of give people a quick intro to you as a coach who helps high achievers unlock their potential. Megan Marini here left corporate 20 years ago to teach yoga and has been an entrepreneur, a community organizer, a public speaker, sharing what she has learned to help others dream big and achieve their goals ever since. Today, she'll be showing us how to align with mind and body or align our mind and body with the new energies of the earth and help us define a vision for ourselves. So in this interactive vision work, you're going to learn how to claim the highest potential for what's to come with grace and ease. So get ready to move as we properly ring in the new energy of this monumental winter solstice with Megan's Embody Your Vision grounding practice for helping us stay in alignment with what we aspire for. So please help me welcome the lovely Megan Marini.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I just want to make sure everything is working and you all can hear me because I see all of us. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to see. And we also have a live feed too. So I want to say hello to everyone over there. And I definitely want to start by saying thank you so much, Shawna, for organizing this event and orchestrating such amazing light keepers and bringers of the light. So as we all know, this is a very exciting day and a shift, almost a gateway between one way into a complete new way. And as was mentioned throughout, we know that the energies are changing on the planet. So what has to happen is the energy has to change within us so that we can properly attune to that shift and stay as healthy as we can during all the challenges. And I like to think of spiritual awakening and healing as something that is sort of an integrated thing, like it happens together. And when I work with my clients, it's basically like a removing of the gunk, and that's the healing. Really, we're all healed. We're all light underneath it all, and basically we just need to remove the gunk so that we can continue to enlighten. And enlightenment is one of these things that is really a birthright. And you have all of these consistent teachings, ancient teachings, all the way back to Atlantis. And even from different dimensions, there are protection spirits that are really here now, especially for this transition, to help us. Let me just censor my moonstone. So it's so cool that we have all this help and all this guidance here. So I want to share just a little bit about that, because that's really cool. And I think that the consistency of the messages that have come through, there's a few ones that really stuck with me, and I want to sort of add some contrast to what we've heard. Some amazing work today, really awesome. And just little snippets I've picked up along the way from these sort of other light keepers and different dimensions that are working to support this transition for us right now. So one of which is that the age of Aquarius, which is what we're moving into, right, is really about having the heart is the great harmonizer, right? It balances the higher chakras with the grounded lower chakras. And it is both a yin and yang energy. And the age of Aquarius is about that culmination of yin and yang. And I like to think of this because I have a men's group, and I've been doing work around bringing in the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and balancing that for a long time in my life. It's been a theme since I was little in my life. And it's really nice to know. I thought we were swaying really toward this like hyper feminine reality. And I was like, oh, cool. We're going to be like all goddesses. And what I love is actually not that. It's that we're going to be balanced. And that's what this individuation of God's space, or whatever you, adhere to, like whatever language you use, like universal light, whatever it is for you, it's really about bringing that into your heart and really coming from a balanced place within. I just think it's so beautiful if we think of living in a place where you get to sway whenever you want, and you get to be divinely feminine, divinely masculine as you want. I love that, right? So we can play and we can harmonize the heart. And one of the key themes about this, and I think back to the work I did with the Course in Miracles, which is a great book if you're looking for what I would call sort of a hearty anchor for spirituality. And it was a channeled book, so there's some really high vibration truths. And one of the ways that we can sort of remove that gunk is to cease judgment of others. And that seems to be an underpinning of this new echelon of light that's coming in, so that we get to drop the attachment to how others are performing, behaving, showing up for us, so that we can free that noise from our energy body, right? So when we think negatively, it gets stuck in the 7th chakra. And we want to delete that stuff. We want to stay clear so that we can be total open antennas, right? And be able to channel in, or it could be, you might think of it as just being tuned into your gut instinct. You might be working on clairvoyance, or maybe it's just your intuition you want to work with. So really being that open channel means removing the voice of hypercriticism toward our brothers and sisters. Course in Miracles would have us know that our brothers and sisters are reflections of us. So really holding that space for each other. So I just want to do a shout too before I move into the next. I'm with the Irie Bliss tribe at the People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers in Weymouth, and I just want to mention Sandy, and that's where we're holding space, and we're coming to you. It does look like a nightclub right now. There's not a lot of light back here, but we have our people here. We're gonna do some movement. Look at how cool. We're gonna do a little movement, and we're gonna do a little vision work, which will be cool. So I think though there's something else. What is it? I usually memorize, and it was like it was really clear that I wasn't going to be able to memorize this talk today. It would have to kind of be how things come. So polarity is this really interesting thing from the move from a 3D to a 5D reality, right? And polarity is the 3D, where we see things as outside of ourselves, and it takes us longer to learn. There's more conflict, basically the life we've been, the vibration on the earth up until now. And where we're moving into with 5D is going to be accelerated, sped up ability to learn and to understand. So you can think of this with new wisdom, new information, or even ancient wisdom that you're just learning about now. You're going to be able to maintain and hold that information much easier. And you're going to feel a lightness around the struggles, okay? So we're going to be bringing this into the body in a way, and really thinking about allowing ourselves to hold more light. And this will happen, Shawna mentioned a crystalline body, and this is actually what's happening. So our cells are changing with the frequency of the planet, and we will be, operating from a more crystal space. So you can think of being a clear channel as very visceral and very much happening in your body. And what we want to do is allow the body to hold more light. And there's different ways we can do that. One way that I wanted to share with you is it's really powerful. It is taking, it's basically destroying the ego, and ego destroyer, yes. So, and this is a term, Buddhism, there's like an ego destroyer meditation. This is a little different, right? I've found the fastest way to destroy the ego is to ask for guidance. So you can see this very physically. One of the spiritual workers I worked with, she's like, put your arms up and just say, help me, right? So if this is something that's new to you, or you feel resistance to guidance, because that's something we're not taught to do usually, you can think of it as just the assumption is that you don't know everything. You can't really know everything. And the easiest way to let things lift off your shoulders, the weight that sometimes we carry, the responsibility and all of these changes that we're going through on the plane of matter, is just to say, maybe there's more to the picture than I can see, and I'm going to be open to support, right? So there's 7 planets of light. There are light workers on planes that are very far away that are all holding this planetary shift right now for us, because we affect the rest of the universe. So your role in this is extremely important for your own peace, for the peace of the generations that come after you, and also for every life you touch, and for the world. So we're going to send some light out to others that may be ahead of us. Maybe there's a lot of people right now today praying for the shift. And one of the cool things that I read along the way during this from one of the light workers was to pronounce that the light has won, because the light has won. The light will always win. And you can know that if you feel disrupted, upset, you can just chant that internally. I'll be at a business meeting and I imagine myself with my arms up, because you can't always put your arms up. You can't always chant, but you can always control what's happening on the inside. So I want you to all think for a moment about a time recently when something was very disruptive and you felt inside really grounded and peaceful, and you were like, wow, I would have 6 months ago or a year ago been very upset, but for whatever reason, because I've been doing whatever, my spiritual work, my exercise, my therapist, whatever it is, you felt stronger. Can you think to a time recently that you had that experience? And I want you to think of this contrast, because this is precisely what we're capable of doing all the time. And it's so rad. It's so rad because when we have that anchor within and we have that state of peace and emotional equanimity within, we can weather whatever happens. And whether things continue to look like they have or they look different, if you have that center within, you can handle what comes. And that's something that no one can take away from you. So if we think of embodying the light, that's really it's not just so we can be like, blissful and wiggling our toes, although that's really cool too. It's so that we can handle the challenges in life better for those around us and for our own, mind, body, spirit. So thinking about that, we're going to go into a little guided visualization here. So if you can get comfortable where you are, if you're sitting in a seat, you can sit toward the top of the seat so your spine is erect. You can also lie down if anybody would like to get really comfortable. It's a great way to tap into the parasympathetic and sort of enhance healing, speed up healing. So you can lay down, or you can sit Indian style, or comfortable position, sit on a chair, whatever you like. So from here, let's gently close our eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. And just let go of the past. Let go of any tension around the future or expectations. Let go of any ideas that pop into the mind if they arise. And I want you to feel your legs like feathers. Each leg light as a feather. Feel your torso up through the spine, through the back of the neck, and even the head. A feather, light as a feather. Feel your arms as light as feathers. And then feel a lightness on your whole body as one. And I want you to imagine far off in the future, 10 years from now, everything is perfect. You're healthy. You feel grounded, supported. You're with people you love. You feel joy and peace. Perhaps your career is strong and you're producing work that you believe in the world. So see this now. Whatever it is for you, it should be unique. And you can look around and see what's happening, who's there with you. Scan your body. How do you hold yourself? Are you smiling? How does it feel? Take note of anything that's happening around you, anyone who's with you. Maybe there's a feeling that's come up. Maybe it's just color. Maybe it's something that you feel in your body. And from here, I want you to bring your awareness to your heart space. And devote today's practice to the greater light in the healing of yourself, the planet. You can feel a white light surrounding your heart and filling the space around your heart. And in dedication, we can send this out beyond the body to the room you're in, the city that you're in, and beyond that, out into the greater world. So you can literally imagine the light in your heart is spreading out and covering the entire planet. You can send it out wherever you think it's needed. You know where it's needed. Perhaps to those in power. Maybe it's to those who have lost their faith. Maybe it's to all of the animals and the earth, Mother Earth herself. And then bring the love back into the heart and feel it ground down. Send it down through the body into the earth, to the core of the earth, to anchor it as your new reality. And then taking this light that we've generated today and knowing that it is going to be stored in your body forever. So whenever you need it, you can always access it. You just ask for it to come back, and it comes right back. So when you're ready, you can keep your eyes closed, but begin to take a few deep breaths and just re-energizing your body with this light, with this truth, bringing your awareness to the space around the body. And as you're ready, you can begin to slowly, gently open your eyes. And from here, we're going to slowly begin to come up to a standing position. And we're going to do some movement. So we're going to bring this into the body and really make it a 5-dimensional reality. Okay, so take your time, moving very slowly, bringing with you all that you have. And yeah, so the main thing to do with the movement is simply to enjoy yourself and sorry if the screen is not, it doesn't look as cool as it was. You may see my screen. Let's see if I can make this pin video. Maybe you all can see. I'm not sure if you can see. Hopefully, Shawna, can you guys all see my visuals so they can see the movement? I don't know if you can. Yes, we can. Okay, perfect. Beautiful. Good job, Shawna. You're so good at tech and spirituality. Yes. All right, groovy. So this is going to be like a nice yogic movement, okay? So everyone's standing just about, hopefully you can still hear me and the music. Standing with your feet hip distance. Let's inhale and bring the arms out nice and wide and look up. Stretch back just a little bit. And as you exhale, you're going to fold down in a beautiful swan dive. And then slowly come up, bringing the arms out and looking up. I feel like I'm blocking you. Can we go like that? Yeah. And then exhaling down. I'm going to keep my hands on my heart. Let's do this a few more times. You can bend the knees. It should feel really good. If it doesn't, ease out a little bit. And exhaling down, we're just warming up the spine. You can move with your breath, inhaling on the up and exhaling as you come down. Go nice and slow. And just really luxuriate into the movement, like moving like honey. Inhaling out, and then you can bring your hands to heart center. And then we're gonna bring the feet, they still can be hip distance, but we're gonna squat down. So inhaling up, exhaling, inhaling, exhale. And you can bring a little smile to the face. And let that smile, you can feel it come from within too. So you're smiling. Sometimes people like to think of a smile coming from the belly. I like that. Yes, I love that, Naomi. You can throw it down if you want to move the energy. And then from here, let's come back to center. Take the feet a little wider, and we'll come into a warrior two. You can head toward the right first. We're mirroring them, so that's perfect. So you can go down into warrior two, and then up into a triangle looking out. And you can move with your breath here. You can do the inhale here, the exhale here, And then we're going to switch to the other side. So just pivoting your feet toward the left. Just opening up the body. And then from here, we're going to do it a little different for the next song. So this one, I want you just to walk to the beat. You guys, I think you guys can't hear the music. Want that? So just walk, okay? You can walk around the space. I wish we could hear the music, you guys. We can, anyway. So all you're going to do is think about that feeling that you were in when you were in the visualization. And really think about who that person is. See if you're holding any tension in your shoulders, pull them back. Take up some space, okay? Get creative about where you're walking. And don't worry about what you look like. Hopefully you have some room where you are. So bring your awareness within. You can even close your eyes. And if you don't have much room where you are, you can basically just stay right in front of your computer. And I want you to think about your stomach being really relaxed and embodying this vision. Fully healthy. In great relations with everyone around you. Total rocking success. And then if you need to spin it around, you can spin. If you want to get funkier, you can get funkier. Into it. You can snap it. So I want you to think about opening up to all of these sources, different dimensions. Maybe it's your ancestors. There's a lot of help right now. I want you to feel the help at your back. They're supporting you far beyond what you even know. I mean, maybe you do know, but most of the life is mystery. We have to know that we don't know, right? So just know that it's far beyond what we even can imagine. And if we can open up to this divine connection and listen through the day, we'll be guided. So feel that. Feel at once the support at your back and an opening forward for you to listen and for you to respond to what you get for information. So why don't we go ahead and, if you want to say it out loud, you can say it out loud. You can also just say it in your mind's eye. So the way I like to say it is, I'm open to direction. I'm open to guidance. And I will also say, I will respond. So we can all bring our hands to our heart. And bring the thumbs to the third eye. And lift the head up just slightly. And just feel connected and capable of bringing more light into the body. As much light as we are capable of holding. May we be supported through this change. May we bring more light into the world because of it. Hallelujah. Thank you so much. I think Shawna's going to pop on. I hope you all liked that and it was fun. Oh, sweet. Thanks, Naomi. Thank you.
Oh, I was going to just comment on how this beautiful candle, and what a great group of people you have with you there. Hi.
Yay.
Can she hear me? She probably can't hear me.
No, we only have sound through the earbuds, which is kind of precarious.
Well,
But
tell her I
she
said
made it.
hello.
She said hello. Oh, good. There you
Hello.
go. Yeah.
Hello, love.
Shawna said hi.
You
Thanks
did a
so
great
much,
job.
Shawna.
Thanks for being a great assistant today.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Are you enjoying the party?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad. So, Megan, a lot of incredible quotes that I wrote down from this. I love that knowing and being reminded that we have help and guidance far beyond what we can imagine. And the heart is the great harmonizer. And to state, I am open and I will respond. So, those were some of my takeaways from this session. I absolutely loved the movement piece and just kind of, again, moving the energy through the body to help it integrate. And, thank you so much. And I appreciate your participation, your contribution.
Thanks so much, Shawna. It was really nice. It was so lovely to do this with you.
Yeah, you as well. All
All
right.
right.
So we're going to be bringing in a new guest that is Rosalie, here we go. I'm going to make you a co-host so you can take care of that yourself. And then let's see. Rosalie, you're welcome to turn on your screen whenever you're ready. So up next, there is an illuminating solstice new paradigm oracle card reading with the lovely Rosalie Aina Long. Rosalie is a unique transformational leader who provides enlightening messages from a deep connection that she has with all of nature and the spirit realms. Utilizing her psychic, medium, and intuitive abilities, astrology, numerology, and divination cards that help stimulate creative new growth, that help bring balance, that help us to heal and remember ourselves and shift paradigms. Today, she'll be sharing some insights into these pivotal planetary alignments that are occurring and some of the ways that they may affect us all. So let's show some love for my beautiful, sweet friend, Rosalie. And you can unmute yourself, sister. There you
Hello, everybody. It is an honor to be here and just listening to everybody. It was just amazing. Thank you. We are in some amazing times, aren't we? And I know it may not seem that way for some people, but there is always hope if we want to see it and feel it and believe it. And I believe that there is much greatness to come because we have so much opened up to us right now. And it's a matter of us seeing it, feeling it, and believing it. So I wanted to just touch on a little bit astrologically, as I'm sure many of you have observed from social media and the news, that many are talking about this great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn coming to 0 degrees in Aquarius, or in Vedic astrology, it's coming and it entered into Capricorn, depending on which one you use. Either way, it is very, very pivotal. The 0 in numerology is a symbolism of, it's almost like that in between. You have like in numerology goes, depending on which version you use, it can go 1 through 9, but there's also the 0, which is like a God force, or it's an extra supreme energy. So with Jupiter and Saturn being at this moment at the same time and on solstice, and the changing of the seasons is just like, wow. It's great new beginnings for us in many, many ways. Of course, all the different astrological planets all come in together to form a great force that energetically affects all of us, not just us as humans. It affects nature, it affects the other planets in the solar system. But specifically with Jupiter and Saturn, Saturn is this force, or planet holds this energy that is about, it can be about restrictions, but it's also about doing things step by step. It's about doing things in order. It's setting the foundation for new things to come, for achieving your dreams, because Saturn wants to give you all that you want and desire. But then you also have Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is this huge planet that is all about expansion. It's about taking things and just taking it to a whole nother level. So when you bring both of these forces together, which as mentioned before, it happens every 20 years. But of course, it being very, as mentioned, it was very significant right now. But bringing these forces together is really giving us like a clean slate to recreate our dreams. Some of us, I've been feeling when I was tapping into the energies this week leading up to now, I've been feeling and sensing that a lot of people, especially with the sun recently being in conjunction with the galactic center, and that force bringing in new ideas and new energies. So it's no coincidence that you have um, the sun that's just transiting now going into Capricorn, and then you have Jupiter and Saturn going into a new sign. It's all divine, wonderful timing to really push us to create our dreams in a structured way, planning, but also resting, because there's a self-care. There's many things that we have to take care of but the thing is that our almost backing us basically to really develop our dreams in a new way, in a more attainable way. It's almost like we're all getting a clean slate, if you want to look at it that way, to not just start over, but start over in the way that you really are dreaming it to be, how you want this world to be, how you want to be, and actually it being attainable in an easier fashion because the universe has your back. So I was thinking about that, and I wanted to share that just for that to sit with you. What are some things that you possibly never thought you could do, but it's something that's really going to serve humanity or serve the earth, serve in changing the ways of how you uniquely envision things to be? Well, the forces are with you. And if you think it, dream it, and believe it, it's very possible to happen step by step by step. That's how Saturn works, step by step. But Jupiter's like, I want to get this going too. So you have this extra force to really push you to really get your dreams to become a reality and to become in material form instead of just in your dreams. So that's very exciting to me. Um, if some of you are familiar with your astrology chart, look at also where, if you have looked at your time, you could go to like astro.com and put in your information. But if you are familiar with your astrology chart, look at what house Jupiter and Saturn, or where Aquarius is in your chart, because that's going to be a big component of what's being also activated in you to really shine. And that can just, that's just amazing, because I get excited. I get so excited about this stuff because it's exciting times. We're in a new season too, and the sun's out. Okay, so I wanted to, now 2020 was about 4, it equals 4. 2 plus 2 equals 4 in 2020. But you also have, we're going into 2021. So that's 2 plus 2 plus 1, and that equals 5. So 5 is about change. 5 is about taking initiative to do things. So it's no coincidence. But I just want to highlight those points there, in numerology terms, because numbers are everything, and numbers are also energies. Every number holds a certain energy, just like these planets hold specific energies to influence us and to understand ourselves better and what's going on in the bigger scheme of things. So this conjunction can work very beautifully together. And the other point I wanted to bring out about Saturn, with it being in Aquarius, can bring out these big ideas and strong opinions. So mind you, you're going to see everyone's so uniquely different. So you're going to be seeing a lot of these new things coming out in the near future. But then with Jupiter being in Aquarius, This is an emphasis on creating and promoting these new ideas and these new opinions to bring it into material as well. I just wanted to highlight that. Some of the things I had picked up when I was meditating throughout this week was also letting go of the old and the outdated, not just in ourselves, but also thinking collectively in the world, how we want to see it moving forward, to keep those things in mind, but also resting. If your body feels like resting, because we're all energetically being upgraded and things are, all of the energies in the universe are affecting our human bodies as well. So as was highlighted from many of the wonderful goddesses earlier, we're feeling all these different things and sometimes our body just wants to rest. So it's listening to our own inner selves, resting when we need to, and when we do have the energies, using the energies when we can, not overdoing it because it can totally throw us out of whack and off balance. But we have great guidance today to show us how we can bring ourselves back into our center. The universe has your back, and trust that it does, or whichever synonym you want to use with that, God, source, what have you. All of these collective energies are for our benefit, even when it seems very not so. A lot of, keep in mind that some of these things that happen that may seem to not go in favor are to help us grow and to evolve and blossom into who we are authentically meant to be. So keep that in mind. We're coming towards the end of 2020. Take time, if you can, to reflect on your year. What are the great things that happened? What are the new epiphanies that happened? What changed within you? Think about all the things. Take some time, if you can, to really reflect and think on how your year actually did go. And where do you want it to go in the future? Consider those things. A lot I've noticed too from speaking with clients and other friends and people, and just my observation too, is that a lot of us are receiving insights into dreams we've had from the past. But my hawk just went by. Thank you, hawk. The thing is that a lot of these different dreams that we've previously had may have been very hard to attain or very difficult to make into reality in the past. So sometimes they're coming back because now's the time that they're more easily attainable, or you have the energies or the clarity now, or things are opening up, doors are opening that are making them much more easier to attain and to develop and to bring into reality. So if you're like, oh, that was from like 20 years ago, but perhaps it came up because you got another chance. Like I mentioned earlier, it's almost like a clean slate to start over. Some people during this year have lost their jobs or have realized that the careers that they were in aren't really suiting who they are inside, and they want to go in a whole nother spectrum. And that's great that that has happened, because you can do something different. You could do something that you actually want to do instead of what was imposed on you. So I wanted to just share those things. I hope they resonated in some way. And if nothing resonated, that's okay too. Maybe I planted seeds. I know many of you ladies today have planted seeds with me, and I appreciate that as well. I wanted to do a card reading, an oracle reading from my spirit animal deck, and then also from my feathers cards, because I, as a nature and animal communicator, they just speak very clearly to me. And I appreciate them because I learned so much from the animals and from nature and from observing. They're my greatest teachers in the physical, when I'm able to see them, and then they help me connect to the other realms. And so let's see. I wanted to ask Divine Spirit and these spirit animals what we can, what is some general guidance for the collective right now that will benefit them with these transitions that we are affected with. And let's see what they say with this first. I saw this in my vision really quick before it came out. We have whale spirit. These are some majestic creatures in the sea. And the message that it has on here, which was mentioned earlier too, is trust the great mystery. And also in numerology, I'm having a difficult time saying that word today, number 65. So you have the energies of 6, which has to do with balance and organization, but then you also have the number 5, which has to do with change. You mix them together, 6 and 5 equal 11, which is a master number, which number 11 is almost, if you look at it, it's like 2 columns and you're going through 2 columns, a new doorway, uh, illumination for the collective. But with it being whale spirit, these are deep sea creatures, majestic deep sea creatures. Sometimes we may, a lot of us have been having very deep dreams, maybe some very vivid dreams. Sometimes whale, because it's a sea creature, water has to do with emotions, feeling like a lot of us have been having some very deep dreams. Some of them may be causing confusion, many different feelings coming up from these dreams. But what it's asking is to trust the great mystery, because sometimes, as also mentioned earlier, we get breadcrumbs sometimes when we receive guidance. Sometimes things come in stages so that we can receive it. Even when confused, we can get acclimated. And then when we're ready, clarity comes through so we can understand what we were so confused about. So like it says, trust the great mystery. Trust the great mystery, whale spirit. That's one of them. Let's see what else they have to say. What else can we share along with this? Please and thank you. I keep seeing a fox. Keep seeing a fox face. But dog spirit came out. I know they're related, but they're a little bit different. Dog spirit, be loyal to what you love. It's the dog. It has number 19 on there. Look at that wonderful headdress on this dog. It's beautiful. And what I'm sensing is, so dogs express loyalty. They're very loyal animals and creatures. And it's also showing number 19, which is 1, which is like being independent. But 9 also makes me think in this stance with humanity, being loyal to humanity, to humans, to our other humans, because we're all connected. And it's being loyal and developing a new type of loyalty that so we're not having this separateness. But it has these beautiful flowers on its head, and then it has this wonderful jewel on its third eye, which is red. And it's also telling me it's almost like letting this blossom, your mind, perhaps your third eye, let these new insights come in and blossom and open up to have a new jewel activated within us, because a lot of things are being activated within us right now. I know Shawna, you mentioned earlier about downloads, and holy cow, so many downloads. And I'm still making sense of some of them. I write them down. May perhaps write things down too. When things are confusing, write them down on the notes in your phone, because you may get the insight later, because we're all being activated in our own unique ways of powers that we already have within us that are being activated at the right in divine timing with the way that we're going through our own rhythm and nature individually. I find that very interesting. But 1 plus 9 equals 10, which reduces down to 1, which has to do with new beginnings, which actually today in universal numerology is a universal 1 day, which is of course no coincidence. Clean slate, starting over, new beginnings, taking the lead in the direction you want to see yourself going. And by us changing ourselves, then changing the future for others as well. So I want to just, so that's those two cards right there, whale spirit and dog spirit. Keep those in mind. Perhaps you may be even seeing whales or dogs, and they might hit you in a certain way. Let's just see really quick what the Feather Oracle wants to share with us. What's one card you can share with the collective, please, and thank you, for them to keep in mind on their journey going into this new season. I see a hawk really quick in my mind, kind of saying about seeing the bigger picture, getting the aerial view, looking at the whole view, having a bigger observation of how things are happening, get a broader view of your life. So we got this card. Oh, wow, Raven. So I love this deck because it's two-sided. And so Raven, the universe is calling you to notice important synchronicities. Ravens are very magical creatures. I feel like this one too, the Northern Flicker. Thank you for the reminder, Northern Flicker. I've been working with them recently. But the Raven, the universe is calling you to notice important synchronicities. Ravens are black. They sometimes have the iridescence color where it can look a little purple-ish. That reminds me of divine feminine energy, because we have that restoration or balance coming back of the divine feminine energy with the divine masculine, and we're finding a balance with it because it's been so masculine based. So I feel like that's what it's asking to, but Raven also has to do with magic. And I feel like the inner magic is coming out of each and every one of us in due time. So don't be afraid of these changes happening within you. They're supposed to happen because we are divine human beings. This is our essence. This is who we are. Embrace it. But with the Northern Flicker, these are woodpeckers, and they beat. They reminded me of Hellenique's drumming that had me dancing when I was trying to meditate, but I couldn't help myself. Woodpeckers, or the Northern Flicker in particular, has a specific unique voice, but also if you ever get a chance to observe, watch how woodpeckers climb up trees. They kind of go in a spiral, like you're ascending the spiral of life. And they also have yellow in them, which yellow reminds me of the solar plexus. I believe that was mentioned earlier too. But following your own rhythm. You have to follow your own rhythm, not necessarily the rhythm of everyone else's, because it might throw you off rhythm. So follow the rhythm of your own beat, of your own heart, even if it's totally different from everyone else's. You're meant to follow your own because it's in tune and in line with who you are. Beautiful messages. So that was from the Northern Flicker and the Raven. You may actually see these two birds. Perhaps you might see them in your sleep. You might see them on someone's shirt. You might see them on TV. So keep the whale, dog, raven, and flicker in the back of your mind, because these are the messages for you on this beautiful day. And we have so many more beautiful days to come. Even when challenging, find your center, do your self-reflection and your self-care and how that looks for you. I'm grateful to be here on this panel with everyone. And this is my message for today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rosalie. That was so beautiful. The one thing I highlighted was when you mentioned it's about this time is a clean slate to realize your dreams. And I'm going to go look at where Jupiter, Saturn, and Aquarius is in my chart now so that I can, what was it, to see what's activating in me at this time. So that was really a great tip. And yeah, a lot of the messages on your card spoke to me as well. I'd love to hear, let's do some takeaways again, of what you've heard from Megan and from Rosalie so far. What are some of the things that you're taking away from those experiences? from what they shared. Let's hear it. So we can share that. And then, yep, are you good?
For me?
Now I'm asking everybody. Asking
Okay.
everyone. Yep, Teresa says amazing. Thank you. All panelists have been spectacular so far. Yes, awesome, awesome. So we're going to take another quick bio break, and when we come back, hoping to share more about the solstice from a gene keys and human design perspective, giving you cues on how to enter the new year in alignment with the stars. When we return, we'll have Ashley, Nicole, and Bella Crystal joining us for their contributions. So I'm going to take about 6 minutes, 5 or 6 minute break, and go ahead and get yourself some, again, hydrated, get snacked up, and get fresh air in you, and return here in now 5 minutes for the continuation and the final segment of our special solstice event. my goodness. What a day so far. I tell you, I've had so much just fun, first of all, being here with everyone. I really can't believe time flies. I can't believe it's already 2:30. We're already at our last session. And I got so many takeaways that I'm definitely going to reflect on after this session and just really look to understand these messages and their meaning in my life. And I hope that you find yourself doing the same. Now, for our final transmission, I am honored to have Bella Crystal and Ashley Nicole, the co-creators of the 64 Doors, speak about the solstice from a Gene Keys and Human Design perspective, which reveals the gifts and the challenges encoded in our DNA and empowers us to transmute shadow patterns into our gold. Now, Ashley is a master initiator that brings innovation and peace of being into people's lives through their transitions, their beginnings and endings. And she bridges the wisdom of the Gene Keys and Human Design to help you align with your divine blueprint. Bella Crystal weaves many paths into one, blending the teachings from Tantra and shamanism so to support the life force moving through us, which has the power to unlock unprecedented levels of awareness, allows us to access divine trust, love, and intimacy. Together, Ashley and Bella will speak about the solstice, as I mentioned, from the Gene Keys and Human Design perspective, and give you cues on how to enter the new year in alignment with the stars and the planets. So without further ado, I'd like to warmly welcome my sisters, Ashley and Bella. If you can unmute yourself now, I can't wait to hear what is in store for us. So if you want to make yourselves visible, and and you can unmute yourself. And hey, Ashley, if you want to change the name on your video, if you have time, no worries if you don't.
Yeah, and she's coming back. I think she joined with my link, so we have the
Yeah.
same name.
There she is.
Sister, even with my same name. So Ashley, you need to change your name. She joined with my link.
I'm changing it.
We're so excited to be here. We have sneak peeked a little bit for the last hour and a half. And I mean, we are waiting. I think it's in 3 hours, the real moment of the solstice, right? So we have something for you today, a little presentation, trying to fit everything in 20 minutes. It's not easy, but we have done our best.
Yes. Is my audio good? Everything's good? Okay.
Yes.
Let's just jump right into it. I'm going to start sharing our presentation. And here we go. Okay. So our segment is called Align with the Stars. We are also here to help you align with your design. And so if you guys aren't familiar with human design, we're going to be kind of touching on that, but mostly from like a transit perspective, where we're going to talk about what's coming, what's activated now, and how can you utilize these energies to help you like fly into 2021 with, the awareness and the mindfulness and to know how to utilize these energies to help support whatever you're manifesting or creating in the world. And so it's super powerful when you can use the macrocosm to help you within. And the macrocosm is just a reflection of the microcosm. So to see the stars and to see what's activated and to see those energies, we also need to be reminded that it's within ourselves too, right? Would you add anything about us as we're just introducing it right now, Bella?
Yeah, really that human design and Gene Keys are based on astrology. So some people feel like, oh, but this is an astrological event. What does it have to do with Gene Keys or human design? But it does. And that's what we want to show you a little bit today as well, how actually astrology and Gene Keys and human design are following the same transits, are following the same stars.
Yes. So this is we call it a mandala. This is a wheel. And you'll notice that there's the astrological signs right here, like Bella was talking about. But what you probably aren't familiar with are these hexagrams and these numbers. And the numbers are like not in order. So it doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's actually, these are 64 different archetypes that are activated each year. And so each of the signs kind of have these different energies that support. I mean, if you look at Capricorn, which is where we're at right now, and the 10th gate, the 10th archetype is in Capricorn, it has that Capricorn flavor. And then we have Aquarius, and these are the gates that have the Aquarius flavor. So we're going to kind of be orienting you with this system and this new way of looking at astrology and looking at the stars and being able to connect to these archetypes that are going to help you move forward with more ease. Would you describe this a little bit differently, Bella, or anything else into this about the mandala?
Yeah, really, this is the Chinese way of seeing it. So the astrology was dividing the year in 12 different signs, and the Chinese were going through the seasons, and they were seeing these different elements that are changing through the seasons. And we can see 24 hours like night and day as a season. We can also see the year. So now we're looking at the yearly season, and they put together these 64 archetypes, or 64 wisdom cards, we could say, and we can use them in many different ways. Often we look at them in the individual. Where were the stars when you were born? We can also use them as oracle cards, like pull one of the 64 and be like, okay, this is the energy that I need today. So it's really a little bit of a different way. And it's more, what I love with it is that it's more precise than to say, oh, I'm a Taurus, for example. If I say I'm a Taurus and I'm actually the archetype 2 in Taurus, then it's a little bit more precise. So I love the fact that we have a differentiation in 64 different instead of just 12 different signs. That's what kind of made me become more and more interested, and also learning about the 64, because they all have a wisdom. They come from the sages, from the I Ching in China, and they have been put together for thousands and thousands of years. So it's not just something like New Age. It's something that's really deep, and that's always what I kind of feel is makes it more valid somehow.
Mm-hmm. And just like a wheel, they build on each other. So having one archetype, it's important to know what came before and what comes after. And so what we're going to hopefully help illuminate for you is where we're at now, maybe a little bit where we've been, and then where we're going. So you can use these energies again to make 2021 a year that you're kind of making your fantasy a reality, manifesting that into the world. So like we were saying, the planetary cycles, everything has a cycle and a rhythm, the seasons. The planet goes through 365 days in a year, right? We have the day and the night, and the whole day is there's 365 days, and there's 64 transits. And so the way that the wheel moves is counterclockwise. So it doesn't move, it's not ascending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's not clockwise, it's counterclockwise. This is how this mandala moves. And so what does this mean about right now? How is this going to help us? So right now we're at this really cool opportunity that nobody else is going to see in their whole lifetime. We have the Great Conjunction, which Saturn and Jupiter are conjunct, meaning they are in the same location. They're at 0 degrees Aquarius, and they kind of moved out of Capricorn and are now into Aquarius together. And so now there's a whole new age of Aquarius coming in, where before we were in a bunch of Capricornian energy. The solstice, the winter solstice, it's the longest night of the year. So sol is sun, and I can't remember what the Latin term is, but it basically means sun standing still. And the sun, this is a unique opportunity where the sun is standing still, the sun is standing still for us, because the earth is changing its tilt, right? And the rotation and stuff. And so what's going to happen is this is an opportunity for us to pause, stand still, and kind of reflect and kind of enter into these portals together. We have 2 portals colliding. The Great Conjunction is a portal, a wormhole itself, and so is the winter solstice, because now we've already experienced the longest night of the year, and now the longest night of the year, and now the light is building. And so the darkness, this is as dark as it's going to get for you. And we can have hope and optimism that the brighter days are coming. But we have to honor the darkness and allow ourselves to go within and be like, what's planted? What am I growing? What shadows need to be addressed? Can I find the light inside of myself? Because there's no light externally. Where is my light? And so this allows us to turn inward. So those are the two portals and wormholes that we have available to us right now. And we can step through with confidence and step through knowing what we're meant to be, do in the world, and how we can utilize this time to our advantage. So again, here's that mandala. And we can see that in looking at the mandala, this is the transit of right now. We're not going to really go into like what a body graph is because we don't have tons of time, but you can see that we have the planetary symbols. So this is the sun, earth, north node, south node, moon. You can see that Jupiter and Saturn right here are both in the same gate. So that's what makes a conjunction. And so this 60th gate has a very particular energy about it. And so both Jupiter and Saturn are being active, are bringing through this archetype. And then we can see that the sun and Mercury, our communication and what is illuminated for us, is in the 10. And we're going to go into these archetypes and tell you what they mean so you can utilize them. And then the earth, which is always in opposition of the sun, is in gate 15. So we're going to talk about these three archetypes and how you can embody them and utilize them during this time to help you move through this portal.
And probably all have already heard, but this is not something that happens often. A Jupiter, a whole cycle around takes for Jupiter 29 years, and for from Saturn 29 years, and for Jupiter I think it's 12 years. So it only happens that they come together, they are conjunct every 20 years. And as we have 12 different signs, they come together in a different sign. So it's like, I think it's 120 years before they come together where they are right now. So it's not something that happens every day. That's why we're speaking about this conjunction as something big. It's also because it comes together in Aquarius now. And that's what we have spoken about as the Aquarian age. So it's an important conjunction for sure. And I usually feel the solstice energy even when it's not in a conjunction. And I often feel it in my neck because it is the tilt of the earth. And somehow when especially when you're in a feminine body, you are in tune with the earth body. And then you often can feel the tilt. So today I'm better, but I've had very difficult days with my neck for the last few days.
Yeah, it's really cool and magical to have Saturn and Jupiter 0 degrees of Aquarius, because the 0 degrees allows us to have like limitless possibilities and potential. So all things are possible for this new foundation that's opening up. And it can feel like Earth is moving through a portal, or that it's like being birthed of some kind. And because we're moving from like Capricornian energy to Aquarius energy, we're moving from the Earth to the air sign. And from now for the next 200 years, we're going to be in all air signs. And so we have shifted. And the earth sign they're ambitious, they're into big business, they're building things, material possessions, achievement. And the air signs are more about the collective and community and humanitarian efforts. It really likes technology though. And so we're going to see a lot of advancements happening in the technology world. But it also needs to be free and fluid, and the power of our thoughts are so important. So if you could know that your thoughts are like seeds being planted, that's how seriously you have to take your thoughts, especially being in an air sign. It's almost amplified. So all of your thoughts, all of the things that you are fantasizing about, thinking about, ruminating over, they're seeds being planted, and you decide what you water or what you don't water, but they're still taking up space in your garden. So this allows us the opportunity to manifest our goals and to bring ourselves into complete alignment. Things come naturally when you are in your naturalness. And it's important for us to live by our design and be aligned by our design. We have to surrender and love ourselves and step into our authentic truth, because that's what's going to allow us to spiritually evolve. And Jupiter is all about expansion, and Saturn is kind of bringing us our debts, our karma, the things that we haven't like rectified. So whatever's showing up for you today, Jupiter is expanding for you today so that you can see what Saturn's been trying to teach you this whole time, because Saturn can be seen as the father or the judge or the teacher. So it's going to bring you the lessons that you are meant to learn, because Jupiter's over here expanding it. And we're in gate 60, right? And that's all about magic and manifesting and containers and being able to bring things into form as well. And then we have the Sun and Mercury in the 10, which is illuminating this communication of like your naturalness and also like your self-love and your self-worth. Like, are you empowered? Are you in your correct behavior? What is it to be naturally you? And can you communicate that to other people and to yourself? Okay. Bella, did you kind of want to go into the archetypes maybe? Like what gate 60, what all these different gates represent?
Yeah, and I want you to know, because we only have like 5 more minutes, which is crazy, because I want to, like, there's so much we would like to go through with you. We do have our website where all these archetypes are free, so you can click on the 60. The 10 is going to be released because we're in it right now. So all year we have actually released them every week. You can read about them. But here we have gate 60, which is what Ashley was speaking about. That has to do with feeling so much limitation this whole year. Like we are limited and we can't be free. But there's something to actually start to kind of make magic with the structures. If we can see that, okay, this is the conditions that I have now. This is what I have to build with, and then using that, because that's kind of what Ashley and I have been doing. We were thinking about retreats, we were thinking about all these things we're going to do this year, and then I am kind of stuck in Miami and she's kind of stuck where she is, and we have had to rethink everything and use the current structures and limitations in order to expand beyond them. And there is something that's happened with our groups. They have expanded a lot. And we are finding new ways even of working and working together. And the 10 is where we have the Sun and Mercury. It's about communicating who we really are. It's about being true to ourselves. And even for me to not be able to travel every single week for work has actually have me come into my naturalness, to be like, I'm actually quite happy. It's 3 days before Christmas and I don't have any plans for Christmas, but I know that I have the sea a mile away from here. So it's about coming back to your truth and be, okay, what is natural for me? If I don't have to think about what everybody else thinks, what is true for me? That's where the Sun is illuminating right now. That's where Mercury is, our communication right now. So how can you use this Christmas time, with or without your family, on Zoom or in person, to actually cater for yourself? Who are you? How can you express what kind of animal you are? Maybe you try to fit in all these years for the holidays, and this year maybe you can be you and you can communicate that in a way that's going to expand the limitations of what that being together with your family has been before. So there is really a big potential of you coming back to your truth and you communicating that and breaking through out of limitations. That's what I see for this conjunction, for this solstice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super powerful. And if you can stand firm in who you are and your boundaries and know, like, this is what I've learned and this is what I'm not doing again, you can expand yourself into limitless possibility, because it's like a reset. Like everything's changing, everything's shifting. And so allow yourself to change with it. Don't continue on the same traditions, continue on the same things that kind of like made you feel in limitation or lack for the past however many years. It's like you have the ability to shift right now. And we're in this area is the quarter of mutation. So it allows you to be able to mutate, to be able to transform. So take this opportunity to utilize these energies as you are moving into the new year. Yeah.
Mutation, actually, also we could say, is a lot about dying. So it's like, what for in this winter period, things are going to die. Not all flowers, are perennial, that they have leaves all year. Some things have to die and new have to come up. And if we go back to that slide, I see Shawna says we have a little bit more time in the chat. So I want to make sure, if we go back to see where the earth is, even one more slide, That archetype, we didn't speak about it, but it's the 15. And that says that now there is a risk that we go into extremes, and that we go into kind of like maybe this extreme fear of like, what's happening? I don't have, things are not what they are before. Like really maybe into the extreme of fear, or into the extreme of frenetically trying to fix, or in the extreme of just kind of collapsing and going into depression. So it's telling us, instead of doing that, how can we ground, reconnect with the earth, with the Schumann resonance, with the animals? How can we come into the wild woman, to be with the feet on earth, instead of going into those fear extremes of the air and the mind? Because that's a little bit the air sign where we're going into the Aquarius could kind of create things up in the air, but we also need, as humans on earth, that's the opposition, where we have the Mercury and the Sun on the top, we have the earth on the bottom, to really ground down on earth as well, to not fly away. It's super important right now. And when you feel yourself going into extreme, come back into what's your naturalness, how to ground and connect with the earth. Even if it's cold outside and it's snow, maybe you can just bring in something, a stone or like something from outside, so that you can still be connected to nature. That is so important right now.
Yeah, and actually, the wild woman archetype, the 15th gate, is in detriment right now. So it's going to be really, I mean, look at us. We're online. Me and Bella have had clients all morning, and then back to back to back. Like, you can get really sucked into technology and the seclusion and not being able to go out. So it's going to be really important for us all to get out in nature, because not only that, we're moving into the age of Aquarius, which really loves the technological focus and advancement. And with it being collective and community based, it's also super easy for you to fall into just going with what the collective is doing. If you don't have this sense of individuality and knowing who you are and knowing your naturalist, it's going to be really easy for you to become sheeple and just follow what the crowd is saying, follow what the majority is saying. And so use this opportunity to ground into yourself and who you are, and know that yes, we are moving towards like what's best for the collective, what's best for us all, but don't feed into things that don't feel right in your body and for yourself. When you feel like, oh yeah, it's time to go get, I mean, this is super controversial, it's time to go get this vaccine because we're telling you to do it. You have to discern for yourself what's right for you and what's not, even though like the masses may be doing it. Don't fall into what the masses are doing if you feel in your heart and in yourself that it's not right for you. And this is what Aquarius is going to teach us. And this is all about reclaiming our sense of individuality and being grounded into our individuality, and then being interdependent together, but not codependent. I did kind of want to show you what was coming. I think we have a few more minutes, but I mean, we're in the G center right now, which is all about love, identity, direction. So it's important for you to ground into like your sense of naturalness, your own unique behavior, your own self, your identity. And when you're anchored into that, we're going to have a lot of root energy and pressure and fuel to help us get things moving and going in the new year, so that we can manifest and hit the go button on things. This 41st gate is like the go button. It's the start button. It's we call it the originator, because you are bringing in original ideas. You're hitting go on new things. But to build towards this, and this is actually where the new year starts, is when we're in the 41st gate. It's not actually January 1st. That's the new year. This is when things you can hit the go button with things. And so we have a lot of root pressure to help us fuel these endeavors. And so we're going to build on these energies. So Bella, did you want to go into like the transits a little bit? Or
I just wanted to show, so you see all that red that you have. Now we are in the 10, like Ashley says, naturalness, direction, self-love. And then we have all these red that are coming, because remember, we're going counterclockwise. So each one of these numbers are 6 days. So you can kind of think, so for the next few weeks, we have a lot of that root pressure, but we have this one purple gate in the middle that has to do with inspiration. But it's an inspiration. It's so important that it either comes from inner truth or the great mystery. So either it comes from your inner truth or your higher truth. What happens in this 61 is that you can also tap into the psychosis of what's around you. So it's important for you to feel into Where does your inspiration come from? When you use your fuel, when you start projects now in the coming few months, where does the inspiration come from? Does it come from the pressure and the fear from what's around you? Or does it come from your deep inner truth or your deep connection with your higher self or with God? That's important. When we are going to see some craziness probably in the collective. So important to tune into you and your inner truth, not to whatever might pull you in this or that direction. It's showing, like, I see that purple stripe very clearly in this image, and it's telling me it's your inner truth. That's what you connect to.
Yes. Yep. So, I mean, just to kind of give you a synopsis of what's coming. Remember, ground into your naturals, ground into who you are, ground into your self-love, and align with your own unique design. And then you're going to have to decide in the new year, what am I going to invest my energy in? What am I going to give my life force to? What projects am I going to be giving my vitality to? What's sucking me dry? What's giving me energy? And then the 38 is like, what's your purpose? What's your goal? What are you persevering towards? Is it a struggle? When you can align with the higher purpose of what you're doing and what mountain you're climbing, it makes the whole task of this whole year so much better, because you feel like, holy crap, there's this whole mountain to climb. I have like a whole year ahead of me. Align with this higher purpose and this higher truth that you're kind of going to be tapping into to help you persevere towards what it is you're wanting to accomplish. So setting goals, deciding what you're wanting. The 54 is going to give you that root pressure, that energy, that fuel to be able to achieve whatever it is you're wanting to achieve. And when you have the vitality, when you have that perseverance, that grit, that strength, and that ability to like call in the right people and resources and like have that energy to like move forward and achieve it, you can be fueled by your inspiration as well. And that ideal and that inspiration is what's going to also move you forward. And magic and miracles can happen in the 60th gate when we're trying to manifest. And then we can hit the go button and say, I'm ready to begin, I'm ready to start. But we're kind of doing this in the beginning to kind of get us ready to hit the go button. So you're kind of pulling in all of this energy and resources within you to kind of set you up for the year.
Yeah, and that's actually beautiful, because and you know this, how human beings work. In the beginning of the year, we have a lot of resolutions, we have a lot of things that we want to do, and then the other gates are going to be more about like listening in and coming to our sensitivity, and not just be kind of trucks, going in on the highway. So, but it tells us it's important to have those goals, and then during the year we're going to adapt and find nuances to them. So it's a whole, I mean, it is a whole journey, and I wish that we could come back in some way and you see it's a continuous journey through different energies, different centers, different opportunities to learn more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to like add, I mean, you have the transits that are that you can utilize to help you bring the things that you want into fruition, but you also have your own personal blueprint. So if you're interested in looking up your own personal blueprint to see like what's always active and consistent in you, what's your personality like, what's your soul like, what is your purpose here, you can pull up your human design chart to see what your profile looks like. And we have freebies for you so that you can pull the charts and then have like a masterclass to give you a rundown of what everything is in the chart. So this is our gift to you, so that you can be able to kind of have that foundation, because it's one thing to align with the stars, but I think it's also important to align with yourself and your design, because that's equally as important. Macrocosm mirrors the microcosm. So allow yourself to know yourself, master yourself, and share that mastery with the world.
And that chart that you were seeing before, that is the body graph, it's basically just taking all the stars or all the planets where they were in the moment you were born, and they're giving you kind of that flavor, that quality of that number. So that's also where we have our free website where you can go to all the numbers. If you have, and you look at the first number, not the decimal. So on the top, it says 2.4. This happens to be mine. The first number is the archetype, one of these 64. And maybe actually I can type in the chat actually. You can go and just, okay, 2 is your main one, and then you go to 2, or 15 is your main one. So there is this beauty of being human, that you both have your unique blueprint as you, and you also are part of this earth, this body, this Mother Earth that has her own activations. And you are always an interplay between you and her, between you and what's around you. And that's also why for me to follow the transits and not only staring myself blind on my own blueprint has opened up so much more for me. And like I say, instead of saying, oh, my neck is horrible, what's going on, I've broken my neck is destroyed, it's like, oh, there is something in the global cycles that is influencing me. How can I breathe bigger? How can I open up more from that instead of closing down and thinking always that something is wrong?
Mhm. Yes.
Wow. Can I just say this was amazing. This information was so helpful. Can you hear me okay? I have no idea if you can even see me or hear me. So I'm a huge fan of your work, and I'm so grateful that you were able to share that, because I'm sure a lot of people, especially those who I've been working with for ages, and I've talked a lot about the importance of having your gene keys profile, especially in human design as well. But you gave so many great insights and help us understand it a lot better. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you. A few things that stood out to me from your talk were that we're flying into 2021, and it really tied us back to something I brought up regarding, like we're breaking out of the cocoon and we are like being uplifted by the air signs, so to fly. So I loved that tie-in. I never even thought of that. The two portals that are opening up simultaneously and looking at where they are and their channels. And that really must bring some powerful supportive energy for, helping us move through that. The gate that the 60th gate of magic and manifestation, the 10th gate of illuminating your natural self, and then the 15th gate of the wild woman. I like the wild woman, and remembering to be grounded in extreme times, and that's a message that I think we really need to be reminded of right now. The other thing is about the interdependence versus codependence, and I actually think that that's actually an up leveling. We're going from the consciousness of me, myself, and I, which is a bit greedy, into the we, ourselves, collective consciousness. And there is this interdependence that happens with that. And I really appreciated you tying that in as well. We also tied in the 64 archetypes that we started with the drumming, and we are, really anchoring in these inner truths that you brought up today. So thank you for your contribution. Are there any questions that people have for you? Let's see. Everyone's just saying they learned so much in a short time. Powerful work, returning to this. Yes, thank you. Lots of thank yous. Lots of thank yous. Wows. Lots of wows. Also, a couple people, including myself, said the neck thing. That it's funny you should say that, because this whole time I was like trying to get my neck to unstiffen, and I was like, of course, the Earth's axis is changing, and that's our axis point. So that makes so much sense, and I love that mirroring effect. And we're actually talking about mirrors in our group this month. So that was a really great opportunity to see that in action. So really, really cool stuff. This has just been, so if anyone, for all of our panelists who have joined us, feel free, if you're still here and you're able to unmute yourself, don't feel pressure. I didn't prepare you for it, so don't feel pressure. But like, if you want to unmute yourself and say thank you and like take a final bow, because we are at our final moment for this incredible panelist event and amazing, amazing support that you've all brought. I'm so grateful, truly, and honored to be on stage with you, sharing this light and this time at this time. And so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for contributing your energy for this contribution. And I really would love to just, if anyone wants to share a closing statement, if there's any like final remarks that people are feeling called to share, feel free to unmute yourself and just simply pop in as panelists are here to just share a final message with the community.
I just want to say I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. And thank you for this beautiful, beautiful transition.
Aho.
To all of us moving through it with such courage and sensitivity, and for also supporting each other like this. I just want to thank everybody.
Thank you. Beautiful. Yeah, it's a wonderful time to be alive. It's scary, and it shows that we are courageous souls to have chosen this time to come into this world, to manifest here and come together. And just as a reminder, I'll be uploading this replay in the quantumshift.us platform, so you can join us there. Again, it's just quantumshift.us. You can join the free community, and a lot of the panelists here, I think most of them, if not all of them, are in there. So feel free to engage them through there as well. And remember, from when I started, we're here for each other at this time. We want to be used for our gifts, to be in service for the things that we love to do. So please do reach out. If there was anything that spoke to you today, I'd love to encourage you to inquire for more. And don't do this work alone. You don't have to. There's so many incredible resources for all, at all price points, for people who are just starting out and people who have been on this path for a lifetime. So there's many levels and stages and support for all of us. And so I just want to thank you all once again for contributing, and also for staying. I can't believe how many people stayed with us for this entire event. I was convinced that like half the population would have to go, because I just thought, who's got 3 hours? Apparently you awesome people do. So thank you for that. And yeah, with that said, I love you all. I appreciate you. Enjoy this transit. We are in for a great treat, as the light is here. The light has won, right, Megan? The light has won. Proclaim it. All right, everybody, have a fantastic rest of your day. I wish you all well. Lots of love.